Okay, here we go, second attempt. This is the first episode of a new podcast, and folks that know me know I have a shed load of stories and I tell them at the drop of a hat. So in the coming weeks and months and maybe years, I'm going to tell some of these stories. So in this episode I'm going to talk about live shows. Particularly because I have a live show coming up and I want to promote that. These days live shows comprise quite a few different things for me. I do live talk shows where I just get up and tell stories, usually backed up by a projector and a screen, and show some media. I also have done a few songwriters masterclasses revealing the secrets of songwriting, and I'll bring you some of those tips in future. I'm just going to show you a brief clip from one of these songwriters masterclasses. I did a few of these just before lockdown, of course that put an end to that, but here's a little clip for you.
And people have said things to me, well, why does that go like that? And I've been doing it for so darn long that I instinctively know how to put a song together, all right? And I'm going to tell you how it's done. So we've got a panorama here, because at the end of the night there's going to be about 9 or 10 people walking out of here writing hit songs immediately, because it's so easy to do, isn't it? You know, I'm going to talk about song structure and chords and lyrics, and I'm going to give you some examples. When I'm doing these talks and when I'm doing the band show, I start with this slide. These are some of the people that I've written songs for. There are some I don't talk about, and I just put this together here. This is something called Discogs, and this is a place where it's a bit like Wikipedia. The different fans and people, record collecting train spotters, gather all the recordings that various artists have made, and this is mine. It goes on for a while. Page 2. Page 3. There you go. Now, I'm not bragging. I'm just showing you that to give you an indication that I'm qualified to talk about this shit.
So, I always wanted to be a songwriter, and I grew up in the 60s, so I heard all these wonderful songs, and but I wanted to get into a band as well. And I went to work at Concert Steelworks on leaving school, and I bumped into a lad I'd known from school called Robin Hurd, who was also at the Steelworks. And he said to me one day, he was a great guitarist, and he said, let's form a band. He said, if you play bass, I'll give you a bass. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. So he gave me this bass. It was a Rossetti bass. It had no case. I just used to carry it naked around the streets. It had no jack plug input. It just had a wire coming straight out. You plugged it in and off you went. So we formed a band, Bullfrog. So we found a place to rehearse in Ledgate. We shared the Eden Pit brass band hall with the brass band there. And there was me on bass, Robin on guitar, Mick Clancy on vocals, and Mick Simmons on drums. I'll tell you more about those days, but I just want to get to the live show, which we were working towards. So there we were rehearsing, me with this horrendous Rossetti bass, and this guy walks in, and he says, I've come for me bass. And apparently he'd loaned it to Robin, or so allegedly he had. And so, oh, here goes my bass playing career. And an argument ensued. And Mick Simmons got up off his kit and walked to the door and opened it. Then he came back and he said to the alleged owner of the base, are you going to leave? And he started to say something, but it wasn't yes. So Mick pounced on him and beat shit out of him. And the guy crawled out of the place on his hands and knees. So I got to keep the bass, and we rehearsed. And eventually we knew our first show had to be at the Freemasons Ballroom in Concert. We went there regularly on Saturday nights. It was like the Wild West, with tables and chairs flying through the room, glasses flying everywhere, fights. It was crazy. I promise you there'll be no more violence in this podcast. But I first took the stage in 1969 at the Freemasons Ballroom with Bullfrog, and it was a life-changing experience. Things would never be the same. And so we grew a following, and we played the clubs and pubs all over the northeast, and occasionally went a bit further afield. And we eventually got a record deal. And Cube Records, who we were about to sign to, or were interested in the band, they said, we'll have to come and check you out. So they came to a workman's club at Wheatley Hill, and you couldn't have got a better show for them to come to. They were swinging from the rafters, they were going crazy for the band. Girls were beating on the dressing room door, and we had to let them out, of course. No, but seriously, they were banging. I don't know what they wanted. But the record company were really impressed, and so we got a record deal. I'm just going to show you a clip from a show called The Geordie Scene to give you a feel for what Bullfrog was about.
Right on.
And of course, being a total amateur, I forgot to say the important thing. There'll be other podcasts on this channel, so if you want to hear them, subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button below the video, and click on the thumbs up for this video, and that all helps as well. Cheers. See you next time.